Today we're going to dive into a really powerful and honestly pretty counterintuitive idea about morality. It comes from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, and it's a philosophy that doesn't just make you question your motives, it kind of challenges the whole foundation of how we think about doing the right thing.
You know how we always say, it's the thought that counts. The idea that our good intentions are what really matter. But what if that's not quite right? What if the whole idea of having good intentions is actually a trap?
And that leads us right to this first big idea, the motivation trap. The Gita suggests that any action that's driven by our own personal motives, whether it's fear of getting in trouble or wanting some kind of reward, can't actually be a truly moral action.
This right here is the core of it. And it's a pretty stark claim. The idea is, look, if you're motivated to do a good thing because you're scared, well, you could just as easily be motivated to do a bad thing if the circumstances change. The motivation itself is the shaky ground.
Let's make this a bit more concrete. A perfect and pretty scary real-world example of this is how wars get started. It often isn't raw hatred that kicks things off, but mutual fear. Think about it. The whole point of being motivated by fear is to keep yourself safe, right? But in this scenario, the fear that the other side might attack you is the very reason you might decide to attack them first. So the motive, fear, leads directly to the disaster it's supposed to prevent. It shows you the motivation itself is flawed.
So this rabbit hole goes even deeper. It starts to make you question our own personal freedom and, the real nature of the choices we make. I mean, typically in Western thought, this is the whole game. We ask, okay, was that a good motive or a bad one? We praise someone for having selfless intentions, and we look down on selfish ones. That's pretty much our go-to ethical yardstick.
But the Gita pushes us to ask a much deeper question. Are those motives, even the really good ones, are they actually ours? Or are they just a product of everything that's ever happened to us?
The argument here is that our motives are just the result of our conditioning, our upbringing, our culture, our DNA, the whole shebang. So when we act based on those motives, we're not really performing a free action. We're just having a predictable reaction.
And here's where the logic takes us. If a truly moral act has to be a free act, and our motives aren't really free because they're just conditioned responses, well, then it follows that a truly free, and therefore moral, person must be an unmotivated person. It's a pretty stunning conclusion, isn't it?
So, how on earth is it possible to act without a motive? It sounds impossible. Well, the Gita's answer is a metaphysical one. It requires a radical new way of thinking about what the self even is.
I absolutely love this quote because it just clears the air right away. When we start talking about these big cosmic ideas, it's so easy to get the wrong picture in your head. So rest assured, we are not talking about a giant blob of cosmic jello here.
So what is Brahman? Put simply, it's the name for the fundamental reality of everything. It's not a separate God watching us from somewhere else. It is the fabric of existence itself. It's what you are, what I am, what this table is, at the deepest possible level.
And this is a huge difference from a lot of Western traditions. We often think of an immortal soul as being something unique and individual, but the Hindu concept of Atman, or the self, is supra-individual. Your innermost self, your Atman, isn't separate from Brahman, it's identical to it. Okay, so you're one with the universe. Great. But what does that have to do with how you're supposed to act on a Monday morning? Let's bring this profound idea right back down to our original problem.
This is the key instruction from Krishna in the Gita. This is the practical how-to part of the whole philosophy. It means do what you have to do, but without getting hooked on a specific reward or being terrified of a specific outcome. You act, but you let go of the results.
And that is true freedom. When you can act that way, you're no longer just a puppet reacting to your past conditioning. Your ego, with all its little fears and desires. You're acting from that deeper, timeless self, the Atman Brahman, which only exists right here, in the present. It's freedom from all that what-if anxiety.
All right, so to really see this philosophy put to the test, we have to look at the ultimate case study, the story of the great warrior Arjuna, standing on the edge of a battlefield. So picture this. Arjuna is this incredible warrior, ready for battle. But then he looks across the field and sees his own family, his cousins, his teachers, his relatives, and he just freezes. He's completely paralyzed by the horror of it all because he's so motivated by his attachments and his fear of loss. He just wants to quit. And this is where Krishna delivers this profound piece of wisdom. He's telling Arjuna that he's identifying with the wrong self. He's stuck thinking he's just this temporary body instead of realizing he's the eternal Atman that runs through all of life.
Krishna reminds him of his true, indestructible nature. He's not trying to hype him up with anger or hate. He's telling him to do the opposite. Let go of the fear, rise up, and simply do what he is there to do.
And that's Arjuna's breakthrough. He fights, not because he wants to, not because he's afraid of what will happen if he doesn't, but because it is his duty, his dharma, his proper role in the cosmic order. He does his job as a free agent, totally unmotivated by the outcome.
And this brings this huge, ancient idea right back to us, to our lives. It's a challenging and profound question to leave you with. If you could completely strip away the desire for praise and the fear of failure, what would you do? What action is truly yours to take?